Inside Track, the official podcast of World Athletics.
All right, welcome back to Inside Track from World Athletics. It is day 3. What do you know about that, Jamaican? Day 3 here for our daily podcast from Paris 24. I'm Sonia Richards-Ross.
And I'm Greg Rutherford. I'm not going to say 3 like that because I don't think I'll do it justice. Welcome back to your go-to podcast for everything track and field at this incredible Paris Olympic Games.
We've been having a lot of fun. So far, we've had Seb Coe, Steve Cram. We had the great Daley Thompson. And today we have 2 more incredible guests. We have Paralympic sprinter Hunter Woodhall and former pentathlon Olympic champion Mary Peters.
Absolutely. It's like great lineup again. I'm really excited to get that sort of dynamic that Hunter's got with the social side of things, and obviously having Tara there as well at the games ready before he goes.
Beloved duo.
It's incredible, isn't it? And what they've done. I mean, like they've actually blown up on social, etc. And then with Mary, I mean, we're talking about the 1972 Olympics.
Crazy.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible, and she's one of the darlings of athletics in the UK. So
I can't wait to meet her.
Icon.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So be sure to be tuned in. We also want you to continue sending in your questions. They've been really good. Ask us absolutely anything. Well, almost anything. We have 8 more days of fun. So be sure that you are following Inside Track wherever you listen to your podcast.
I was just going to say as well, on the Ask Us Anything, we may have had to remove certain things from the pod now. So we definitely can't. We definitely can't answer everything.
No, not everything.
Definitely can't answer everything. But if you're listening to the podcast or watching it on YouTube, you can get all of the behind the scenes stuff for everything Paris 2024 at the World Athletics website. So go there, check it all out. And also, you can watch back and listen
to our first 2
episodes.
Yes.
So get involved.
Yes, and you heard what Daley said. They're beyond incredible. Like, we are the best podcast he's ever been on, ever witnessed, ever watched. I mean, the greats are saying that. It's like the buzz all around.
He's having a lay down because he's lying down because he's so amazed, right? He's like blown away.
Yeah, he was blown away by us. Yeah, that's the effect we have on people. So how are you feeling?
I'm all right, yeah.
2 days removed from our food poisoning. Have you finally gotten out of the hotel? Because there's a lot to see here. I don't know if you know, but there's a lot to see here in Paris.
Well, I mean, these 4 walls have been most of what I've seen, to be totally honest. No, I have actually. This morning was great. I decided there's a French bakery that I wanted to go and see. I heard it was the most Instagrammable bakery in all of Paris, apparently.
Wow. Well, I like that.
Well,
you should have invited your friend.
I'll let you know. Well, I mean, it'll be difficult for you today because what's just happened in your life in the way of Paris, a very exciting thing for you.
Very exciting thing. My whole family's here. So
sadly, they're not in here, though. They're not in the room.
No, they're not in the room. One of the days I'll bring them by.
Please.
Yep, but they're totally knocked out right now because, the jet lag hit them like... I'm hoping the baby will sleep really long too so my hubby can get some rest. But yes, my husband, my 2 boys, and my mother-in-law are actually here. Fantastic. Her first time out the country.
Amazing.
And it's Paris.
She's absolutely living the dream. Yeah, are you planning anything afterwards? Are you going to go anywhere else after Paris? Or is it going to be...
because my son actually starts school.
Of course, yes.
This is kind of our last trip. Yep. So I'm thinking I want them to go to Disneyland. They're going to come to the track one day. They're going to, of course, do some sightseeing. Then I'm going to ship them back home so that my son can start school. But I just think it's so fun to be able to experience this with my family. Because obviously, as an athlete, I didn't have my kids when I was competing. Now, a lot of women are doing that. I wish, on some levels I could have done that because it's so special for your family to get to see you while you're active, but not for them to see me in this kind of phase of life, but to still see the kind of the rewards of all the work that I put in. So it's very special.
Very special. Well, that's very exciting. Well, I guess we should probably get ready for our first guest.
Yeah, and you should get over here.
I'm sorry, right? I'm coming.
So that Hunter can sit in his seat. So come on, my friend.
Right, we're in.
Get on the right side of the couch. Stay tuned. Hunter Woodhall is next. All right, our first guest is here. Hunter Woodhall's in the house.
First guest.
Yes,
first.
Well, for today.
Let's go. I'll take it. No, I'm so first.
No, you're sick with that. Listen, athletes like being, whenever they're here first, they're like,
I've done it. I've made it. All the training.
Put it on my resume.
You are one half of what I will say is by far, hands down, the most beloved Paralympic, Olympic duo with you and Tara Davis-Woodhall. We just love you guys so much. What is it like for you being here, ahead of your competition? and being here with wifey and what's happening with her. Give us all the tea. How you guys feeling?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, I've been in Paris a few times, and this time is just completely different. Everything is different. The energy is different. The excitement is different. It's so fun walking around the streets, seeing people wear USA. Start a USA chant, say go USA, that. So it's really exciting. And man, Tara's locked in. She's dialed in. She's ready to go. I mean, we've done everything we need to this year to be ready for this moment. So for me, this time around, it's just like do what I need to do to support her, be where I need to be. But it also is nice to, get a first look at how it'll be, in a few weeks when the Paralympics come up. So all around, just a really amazing opportunity.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, actually. Do you think you being here and being in and around it, does it help you prep a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, day one, we're shaking out. Day 2 and 3, we're in workout. So it's like, I know exactly how my body's going to feel when I come here for the next time around. And just getting a feeling of that. Because, international competitions, you feel it, but when it's like the week before, it's like, okay, that's really right on top of the mind. So, and then the little things like, say I forgot to bring something or little tips. It's like now I'm like, okay, the next trip is going to be just so much easier.
Yeah. You talk about how you guys have really locked in and done everything that you guys could do. What do you say has been the big shift? Because it's undoubtedly that you guys, am I saying that word right? Why is that word catching me up? Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
You guys,
You got me quite.
I'm not good at spelling or grammar or any of that.
Let's get the Queen's English here for a moment.
Bring out the dictionaries. You guys have just stepped your game up. I mean, Tara is on another level, and I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed watching you run the 100 and all that you're doing, the 400 and stuff. Like, what's been different this season?
The biggest thing is like the stuff we're doing off the track, recovery. So in the past years, like, we're strong and fast and athletic, and you think that's enough, and you can show up to the track and do what you need to do. But then you start to realize, especially as you get older, is like if you do the right things off the track and you get recovered, the training you can do on the track is much more consistent. It's stacks much faster on top of each other. So I think nutrition has been a big one. Recovery has been a big one, and then sleep. Like we've been talking all year just about getting free points. It's like it doesn't cost anything to drink enough water every single day. So it's like making sure we're doing the little things. And they've just been adding up. And I mean, this whole season has been a testament to that.
Good little points there. Drink as much water as you can. Everybody who's watching, who's developing, coming through. It's a very good point. Now, I remember interviewing Tara after the last Olympic Games, and she was devastated, to be totally honest. Now, of course, she's not here and I ask you to speak on her behalf, but you're the closest person to her. Is that driving her to really come out in this games and do it? I mean, has it factored at all in any of the training thought process?
It's like a little bit, but like we've talked about it so much. It's such a different year this year. Tokyo was, I mean, apart from everything else, Tara and I, we run off of a crowd. We love competing in front of people. We love that energy. So that wasn't there. Family wasn't there. That support group wasn't there. The other thing was like we were both in a collegiate season. So Tara went the whole collegiate season and then made the Olympic team. Whereas this year is like our goal the entire year is to make the Olympic team, right? So this year is like this is the end all be all, where that year was like a really big bonus at the end of a season. So I think it's a little different, but obviously like, that feeling sucks. So I think that's probably fueled a lot of like the training and those long days more than anything.
Well, I mean, we all know you guys obviously on the track, but there's a different audience that you guys bring to the sport because of your social media endeavors. You guys are superstars on social media and YouTube and stuff. Do you like that part of what you do? And like, how does that kind of also drive you guys to be great in sports?
we love that part. I mean, that's kind of where we got started. We always like joke around of like, man, we're a long jumper and a Paralympian. Like, it's not a lot of money in there. So, like, for us to be able to do what we want, live the lives we want, and be able to do this sport full time, is like we knew there had to be another avenue for us to support ourselves. So, getting started on social media was just, one, something we love to do, and then two, like, something we knew we could use to grow the sport of track and field, which has always been a goal for us. So absolutely love it, and I feel like that usually comes through in our content. It's usually authentic and genuine, and we just have fun with that. It's usually our rule. Like, we won't pick up a camera if we're not feeling excited about it. So
it's interesting you say it like that as well, because obviously traditionally, and maybe when we were a bit younger, maybe coaches.
Speak for yourself, because I'm still a young whippersnapper. Okay.
All right. Okay. When one of our later guests, Mary Peters, was younger, no, but people would always talk about the fact that you're taking away from your training.
Yeah.
Like if you're worrying too much about
true.
media stuff, social media was sort of maybe, we had social media.
Yeah,
We definitely did.
towards the
Twitter
end, towards the
and
end.
things like that were still there.
Yeah.
But people would always say it takes away
Yeah.
from your training, takes away from competition. You shouldn't be doing it. But you guys completely flipped it on its head. But has there ever been any times where you're thinking, do you know what, maybe we're doing too much, or
That's a
is
good
this taking
question.
something away?
That is a great question. I feel like we've done the most we've ever done this year, and things are going pretty well. So I'd say that has to be the answer.
Don't
But-
listen to the old people.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Stay on your social
Yeah,
media,
yeah,
especially if it's
exactly.
referencing this.
Never get off your phone. No, but the other thing is too, like, I speak to so many track athletes who came before us, or who maybe like mentored us as we were coming in the pro circuit, and they're like, man, I traveled the entire world and never got to see any of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was me.
And that was another rule.
That was
Like,
me.
You go to a meet, you don't go see things, you stay in your hotel room, you get ready to race.
Yeah.
And it's like, me and Tara do not do that at
That's
all because of the
good.
advice
So
we've
good.
got from so many other
Yeah.
athletes. It's
Yeah.
like, we have a great time. And for us, usually, the more fun we have somewhere, the better we
better
do
you
at the
compete.
competition.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
Yeah.
It's something that I did in my career, which may be slightly different to you. I would make sure I got out, and for me, it was always hunting like the best coffee. Like,
Yeah.
So I'd go find the best coffee shop, possibly wherever it would be, and I'd make a point of getting out and actually using that as maybe a bit of a shakeout for the legs, but equally going out, having coffee, experience a bit of it
distraction.
around
A
you.
good
And it
distraction.
does. You're right. Distraction.
I was we actually for Nike today, Serena Williams came and spoke with us.
Wow,
And she was
incredible.
talking about that. She was saying that she was so ahead of her time because her father would say the same things. Like, you got to do multiple things. And even though people would say, oh, it's distracting from tennis, which didn't look like much was distracting from tennis. You know, she was saying how nowadays it's like, you know, you're celebrated for
Yeah.
doing more things. And so, you know, people really embrace it. I got to ask you one final question because I don't think I know this. What is your, like, how did you and Tara meet? What's your love story? Like, how did you
we
guys?
a
met at
great
a track
question.
meet. Yeah, we met at a track meet.
Don't leave no details
Yeah, go
out.
on,
I
get
want
it all in
all.
there.
I need
Get it
all
in
the
there.
Dude,
tea.
it's
Everything.
so funny. Literally, like 2 days ago, some like account that just posts relationships. I don't know what it's all about. Somebody sent it to me. Posted like our first Twitter DMs ever, like a screenshot. Like, I don't even know how they got it.
So what, your DMs to each other?
Yes, like
Wait,
the
did
very
you guys
first
meet
time.
on so?
No, we
Someone's
did not.
broken into your social media
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
taken your old tweets. Well, all right.
Yeah, so we met at a track meet. I was running a 400 at Simplot Games, an indoor
Okay.
track meet, and I finished the race, and the indoor track is raised, obviously, and Tara literally walks onto the track at this meet and goes, I don't know why, but I just feel like I need to give you a hug. This is 100% real. Gives me a hug. I'm like, all right, this is
Yeah.
interesting. And
So
then
it's all Tara, basically. Is what we're getting from this.
she shot her shot.
She shot her
Yeah,
shot.
we are.
Absolutely shot her
Yeah,
shot.
that was me too, baby. I told my husband, come on,
I was
this
like,
is where it's
okay,
at.
yeah. And then we now know 8 days later, reached out to me on Twitter, slid into my DMs.
So so you
Wow.
met in person at the track meet, and
Yeah.
then she wrote you on
Yes.
social media.
She
Yeah.
put those hours in there. She
And
worked hard for
then
this.
I moved to
A good
California.
woman always knows what she wants, and she's
Yes,
always
she
right.
did. She did. I moved to California Olympic Training Center going into 2017 into college, and she was in LA, and she would drive from LA to Chula Vista to come spend the day with me, spend time with me. We would train together, and yeah, that's kind of
That's
the
how it
start of
started, and then you guys have just been together ever since. Like,
Yeah,
hooked at the hip.
together, not physically together. We
Yeah.
were dated distance most of our
Oh, wow, relationship? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
through college. We were at different
Yeah,
colleges.
right.
So, but yeah, it's
Well,
worked
you
out
liked
well.
on a good one.
Yeah, I shoot. I
You
know.
liked on a good one, and so did she.
Yeah,
And so did
thank
she.
you.
All right, well,
Appreciate
we love having you on here, but we're going to keep you in that seat because we are going to move right into Guess the Athlete.
Oh, so I was
Oh,
delayed
I'm
on that
kinda-
one
I
again.
feel like I'd be good.
Well, I
at
didn't want
this.
you to join me on that one. I had that one.
Actually, I feel like now you're giving up on me.
I was giving up a little bit.
It was such a
because you know
seamless-
why? You kind of catch the beat, but you're not catching the beat all the way. So I'm gonna let you off the hook. All right. So
I need
we're
a little
gonna-
hand gesture beforehand, just like we're about to say it
Are you
now because
ready?
I'm like in it. I'm like,
Let's do it. All right.
Okay.
We're getting ready for guess.
oh no, not ask me anything.
See?
Not ask me
Guess the
anything.
athlete. Oh boy, we have 8 more days together. We're gonna get on sync.
Yeah.
All right. So Greg doesn't know who the athlete is either.
Okay.
So I tried to pick
Me versus you.
someone
All right,
that
I'm down.
you both may be able to get.
Okay. I feel like I'm a track nerd, but
You feel like what?
I feel like I'm a track nerd.
Oh, well then hopefully you get on the first
Don't
one.
say that.
Okay,
I'm
well,
hoping.
I
I'm
didn't get the
hoping.
first one when we did this
I know.
with Daly.
I know, and you're representing us, so make me proud. All right, here we go. So clue number 1. This athlete won their first Paralympic medal at the age of 19.
Oh wow! I mean, that's so.
That's
Johnny
too broad?
Peacock. No?
That was a good guess, though.
That's a good guess. Johnny
Yeah.
must have been about in London.
In London, yeah.
Yeah,
he
around
had to
that.
be
That's a
about
good guess.
that age.
Okay.
Right, Johnny.
Well, Yeah, but wrong.
Giving you some love, mate.
All right, guess number 2. Paris 2024 is this athlete's 6th consecutive games.
Tatiana McFadden.
That's a good guess too. I love her, but no, that's a good guess.
6 consecutive games.
6 consecutive. All right, we're keeping on moving. Nothing.
Oh,
from
hang
you,
on.
my friend?
What was the first question again?
No, we don't get no backseats. All right, clue number 3. This athlete can play the piano.
Oh, Lex Gillette.
I should have got that as well. I trained with. When you mentioned Chula Vista earlier, I was going to be like, shout out to Chula Vista as well. That's where I trained for a period of time.
Yeah.
And like, obviously with Lex and Wes and everybody.
Yeah, you should have gotten that one. You should have gotten that one.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, we're all champions on the couch, you know. But yeah, Lex Gillette,
Wow.
great job.
Well done,
Great
good
job.
work.
Well
Big
done.
shout out to
Thank
Lex
you.
as well.
Yeah,
Legend.
shout out Lex.
Well, thank you so much
Thanks, bud.
for joining us. We're wishing you and Tara all the best. We
Thank
will be
you.
at the edge of our seats cheering for you both. Thanks for taking the time to join us on Inside Track.
Thanks for having
See
me.
you soon. We are joined by British sporting legendary, just legendary human in general, Lady Mary Peters from 1972 Olympic champion. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a joy to be here.
Yeah, we're
Genuine honor.
delighted to have you, really.
And
really.
we've had some great guests so far, but I don't think any are going to quite get to your level. But we did have somebody on yesterday who he said to say to me, you got to say straight away, she was a fantastic team manager. And that was a certain Daley Thompson.
But he also says, and I liked her because she had big boobs.
He didn't tell me that!
Every time he comes to Northern Ireland, and he comes a lot because we have a great relationship, and he always tells that story.
I did not know that. I tell you, Daley, you did not say that.
Yeah, you left that part out. Maybe that's why he has such fond memories of Lady Mary.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is awesome. Well,
Oh my goodness
thank you for
me.
kicking us off with a bang there, Mary. I also wanted to ask you about this because you and my co-host Greg have something in common, right? So Greg actually fancy dancy built a long jump pit in his garden in his backyard, and you have a similar story, right, with your dad?
We had a field behind our house, and when I was asked to do the pentathlon, which was the forerunner to the heptathlon, I had never done the hurdles or the shot put. Yeah. So my dad built a long jump and high jump pit in the field behind our house, and we had bamboo canes for the bar and all that. And then I had to put the shot, and he built the first ever cement shot circle in Ireland for me to train on, and he made the stop board. And then I started breaking the Northern Ireland record as a shot putter, like I was 11 stone. And every time I did the competition, the shot waved light. So he went to the foundry and got a proper one made for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because when I put the long jump pit in my garden, most people worldwide were going, nobody's ever done that before. Nobody's ever put a pit. But everybody always talks about the circle, but I didn't realise that you'd put a pit. Basically, you created an athletic stadium in the field behind your house.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What did you
feel
do?
inept. I do feel inept. I went to the track like everybody else does.
It's not good enough in this room. Not good enough.
Go, like, I'll be back.
We didn't have a track in Northern Ireland. I did most of my training in the university gymnasium.
So what was your inspiration? Like, I'm always so interested and intrigued by athletes like you who are the first to do so many things. Like, where did your inspiration come from?
I wasn't academically very bright.
I don't believe that. It's giving very bright and very witty. I don't believe that you weren't very good in school.
Well, I wasn't keen on academia.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
I was keener on being out in the sports field, and I had an older brother who I wanted to beat in everything he did.
Siblings are good for that.
Which I did.
Exactly the same way.
You need a brother or a sister to be able to challenge.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. That's just, absolutely incredible. I mean, look, I didn't want to make it sort of go too dark or whatever else too quickly, but I think what's really important to say, World Athletics have been incredible about reaching out to the people of Ukraine, and Seb actually went over to visit them there. And of course, for people that don't realise, obviously, during the 1970s in Northern Ireland, it was quite a difficult time. It had the troubles and everything. And you're somebody that probably experienced things that most people could never even dream of. And preparing for an Olympic Games when things are not going too well at home. And of course, I've heard interviews you were talking, you could hear bombs going off while you're going to training. And we've had the same situation, obviously, with Ukraine. I'm fascinated to know, because me and Sandy could never even dream of something like that. What is the mindset like when you're trying to prep for an Olympic Games and you've got things like that ongoing?
It wasn't easy, because we didn't have a track, but I did go to the track that was full of potholes. And so I had to get 2 buses, and very often bombs would be going off. 500 people died during 1972, and I was living in that environment. But when you look back on it, it's horrendous, but when you're living through it, you just do what you have to do. I used to get 2 buses to the track, and I never turned back, even though there were bombs going off. There were soldiers murdered in the apartment next door to me. You know, the times were bad, but the people of Northern Ireland overcome all that. And we're having wonderful time now with tourism and business and everything. And I'm so glad that I still live there.
And you were welcomed back as an absolute hero, even though just before you set off, that wasn't the case, right? It was sort of threats had been thrown around, etc. But actually, when you went home, it was wonderful.
I was threatened the night after I won in Munich. The BBC received a phone call to say if I went home to Belfast, I would be shot and my flat would be bombed. And I said, that's ridiculous. I'm only a sports person. I'm not doing anything against anybody else. It may have been that I was competing for Britain and living on the island of Ireland, but I was born in England anyway, so I couldn't have competed for Ireland.
Right. But sport in its true capacity, it sort of brought everybody together. I remember listening to something you saying where gifts were being thrown over fence and walls to sort of welcome you back and everything. It really does show the power of sport and the importance of the Olympic Games. So just really quickly on that as well. Not long before I left to come out and say, I don't think you'll believe this, I had to do an interview on a show in the UK, and it was to debate the importance or if the usefulness of the Olympic Games and whether or not the Olympic Games has a relevance now, which blew my mind. And the fact that I had to listen to 2 other people effectively say they didn't see the use of the Olympic Games. Now,
you need to be in the stadium yesterday morning, the first day of athletics, and it was packed.
It was a packed house.
The whole of Paris is celebrating the Olympics, and it is very important in our lives. And we need our heroes. We need to inspire the next generation, and it's all about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that conversation would be had, because I think when the world has so much going on and so much negativity, this is a bright spot for the world. And I'm sure when I listen to your story, I get really emotional hearing stuff like that, because like Greg said, it's very hard to imagine. And I'm pretty sure it was great for you to have something like sport to focus on and to take your mind off of all the things that were going on. We also talk about inspiration, and you know, I'm sure you have been such a big inspiration for so many of the athletes that are competing now. Obviously, Katerina and Jessica Ennis and all the great, heptathletes that have come out of Great Britain. How do you find the sport now? Like, what are you looking forward to here while you're in Paris? Like,
well, I'm saying obviously the athletics, because that's my passion. But I have a charity which I set up after the Olympics, which supports all sports. Until they reach the level where they're able to get lottery funding. So we're building a background of athletes and tennis players or golfers. Rory McIlroy's here. We the number of people who are representing Great Britain and Ireland at these games, there's 27 of them that my charity has supported.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is how you pay it forward. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah,
where does that drive come from as well, though? I mean, again, sort of going through everything you come through to then just think, I mean, is it just a case of I've achieved everything, I just want to give back as much as I possibly can? Because not a lot of athletes sadly do that.
No, they don't. But I just got such a buzz out of life being a sports person and celebrating still 52 years on my success in Northern Ireland. So if I can inspire the next young people to get out there and try it. Unless you try, you don't know whether you're going to be good or not. And you have to try as many things as... Did you do other sports before you did?
Yeah. And this is one of the things exactly that you're saying. I always speak to, if I go into schools, if I speak to youngsters, even here in Paris, you'll have British families that then stop and they'll say, tell us about your journey. And for me, I played football, I played badminton, bizarrely, rugby, a bit of cricket in the summer as well. All of it came back down to just running. For me, I was always like the fast kid. Sadly, not fast enough to go and do the sorts of things that you could do on the track. But long jump was something that when I couldn't be a sprinter, I could do that still. And it was about finding that sport for me. But what I learned from every single sport and the importance of that just for the wider world and life, what you learn from sport, you can't learn in any
and
nothing else in life do you learn
do.
it from.
Yeah, true.
So I think that is something that all kids, again, and obviously this is mainly about athletics, but try every single sport going, especially if you're a kid. Try them all, find the one that you love. And on that as well, if you love football, American football, British football, whatever it might be, then it doesn't matter. Try the other ones as well.
No, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We want to keep you, though, because we're going to move on to a very special segment. We're going to predict the podium. And we're going to ask you to help us predict the heptathlon because...
Well, if we knew the result, we wouldn't have an Olympic
Exactly.
Games.
Very good, very good.
And over 7 events, anything can go wrong.
Yes. But you've been to 13 Olympics, so I'm going to trust that your instincts are going to be spot on. So we are going to, and listen, this is just meant to be light and fun.
Yeah.
So what are you
Well,
thinking?
I want Katarina to win.
Yes.
Because she's British, but she's also had so many injury problems,
Yes,
and
she's
she's
overcome
come
a
back
lot,
and come
yeah.
back, and I do hope that she podiums anyway. But Tiam, the Belgium girl, is so exceptional in all of her events,
Supreme,
and has won 2 Olympic golds
Yeah.
in it. So she's got that to know that she's the best. On the but it's who's the best on the day,
Right.
Absolutely.
Like when I won my medal, I won by 1/10 of a
Second?
tenth.
Of a point?
Yes,
What?
1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
And it was after 5 events out of 2 days competition.
Exactly. For it to
and
come
was
down to that.
10 points out of 4,800.
Wow.
How can anybody win at that small
That's
margin?
incredible.
So we were watching the race on the track this morning, and the guy slowed up in the heat. He could have been overtaken and
Yeah,
not
exactly.
got the... You never stop until
Absolutely.
you've
Before the
finished
line.
your final.
And it's an interesting thing, sorry, on that. I think I remember correctly as well, because there was no computers, right? So you had to wait ages as they totted up with pen and paper
Oh my goodness.
the actual scores as well.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, your heart's
The
in.
only reason I knew that I'd won, the first time I knew, was when Heidi Rosendahl, the German girl,
Very
came
German,
and
yeah.
hugged me.
And, oh, wow.
Because she knew I'd beaten
she
her.
knew.
But she'd already got 2 gold medals.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was your turn.
It's getting greedy. These sort of athletes that have like 4 of them or whatever. I mean, it's just like they get a bit greedy, don't they?
One of the
Lady Mary,
swimmers...
we need a bronze though. You gave us a gold, silver,
well,
we need one more.
sorry.
it could be between the American or the Polish girl who's just come back from having a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's who's there
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
desire to win,
Absolutely.
Right.
and the training behind them, and that they don't make any mistakes. If you have 3 no jumps or 3 no puts
Yeah,
in the
no
shot,
height, Absolutely.
that's it, over.
it, yeah.
And that can happen because of anxiety and desire to win.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are if you get it wrong on the day. And,
Yeah,
it's
it's
I
probably
got
happens to all of us.
3 personal bests in my pentathlon.
It shows
You
that.
know, how did I do that? Because I was 33 by then.
Yeah.
It was my 3rd Olympics, and I just don't know how it all worked for me, but it did.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Well,
joy
we're-
of sport
we're
and the
grateful
Olympic
you
Games,
did.
right?
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen when it happens. Well, look, thank you so much for joining
My
us. It has
pleasure.
been
Lovely.
an
It's such a
absolute
treat, you
joy.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Well, that was a fantastic conversation
Was.
with Lady Mary Peters and Mr. Woodhall. I mean, like, what a great pair that we've had today. And just like, just so interesting.
Yeah, and I just think the differences of a athlete who's competing today, obviously in the Paralympics, and then of course Lady Peters giving us an insight and look back into so much history was like the perfect 2 guests
Absolutely.
to have. It just gave us so much depth and breadth and color with all the things that happen in and around the Olympics. So I loved it. But are you ready to switch gears
Okay,
and get into
Ask Me Anything! It's only taken 3
Yes.
days, but I'm finally in tune.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I knew it would happen. I figured you'd figure it out. All right, so we'll start. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first. I'll pull up my one.
All right, so I've already got mine here. I got my phone. So this one is from Ignorance 1975. A little ignorant on this topic too. I get it. Understand. All right. Why does it seem that they put the leading contenders in the same heat? This is a great question, and this is why a lot of times people will say you got to have some luck to win the Olympics, right? Because my coaches always tell me you got to have a little bit of luck on your side because you can be the healthiest, the fittest you've ever been. Everything can be great, but you can have a stroke of bad luck and things don't go as planned. Same thing with the first round. It is a completely random selection. That's why you can see an Olympic champion in lane 9 in the 100. You might see the 2 biggest names in the first heat because it's literally just like they randomly select and you are in that heat. And so most of the times you hope and wish that you have an easy first round because obviously it's going to keep ramping up, but you never know. And sometimes you'll see a favorite fall out of the first round because they're in such a hot heat, especially in the distance races. So it's not based on how fast you've run. It's not based on your titles. You literally show up here and you could be in any lane and in any heat. So that was a really good question.
That's a really good one. Just people's understanding of the sport. It just grows from the education of it.
Exactly.
Teacher Sanya here. Very good.
Thank you very much. What do you got, my friend?
Right, so I've got from Pete Burton. He's asking if you could compete anywhere in the world for an Olympic Games, where would it be? And straight off the bat, I'm going to throw out there that I wouldn't have minded being a surfer in this Olympic Games and being out in Tahiti. And they imagine that. Like,
that would be really nice.
They're literally living the dream, surfing out there on an amazing island. I mean, it's very far away from the hustle and bustle. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that can't be a bad way to spend your Olympic Games, can it?
That's actually a really good one. So there are a lot of places I would love to go to compete, but I think what would be really cool, and I think people are going to think it's pretty obvious, is can you imagine an Olympics in Jamaica?
It'd be so good.
Can you imagine an Olympic Games in Jamaica, especially track and field where the people that love track, I mean, they would go crazy. The whole city would shut down. You ain't gonna get no food on time because the people move kind of slow. They got a good energy, but they ain't in no rush, right?
I tell you what, I went to Kingston in 2006 to watch the Grand Prix there. Yeah. And it was mind-blowing how good it was. And what I also loved with it is I had this big camera with me. It's a great story, this. And I just walked onto the track. And I was competing with
They thought you belonged on the track?
Yeah, they did. In my group at the time was Tricia Smith, the world champion from 2005 in the triple jump.
Yes. I love Tricia. Yeah, I remember.
And Yamile Aldama as well, who was, again, a former world indoor record holder in the triple jumps. They were part of my training group. Yeah. And I literally just walked on the track taking photographs. And it was like a young Bolt was there, Asaf was there, Tyson Gay was there, like Wallace Spearman, all these people. And like who, I looked up to as well. Yeah. It sort of just made it a bit bigger than I had. Yeah. And I'm there, literally on the track taking photographs. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So, right, Jamaica would be a good spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your questions. That's all we have for you today. Episode 3 will be live. Check us out here. Watch episode 1 and 2, and definitely leave us a review.
Yes. And if you are, of course, listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube, you can go to the World Athletics website and you can get involved with all of the behind the scenes information from this incredible Paris 24.
It's been hot. I'm going to be here tomorrow. Will you be here tomorrow?
I'm here tomorrow.
All right, you guys should be here too. We'll see you with more great guests. Until next time.